Hello students, today we will study the chapter Comparative Development Experience of India and its Neighbours as per the syllabus of CBSE Class 12. All nations have their own policies, strategies for development and their own problems. Nation adopts various means to strengthen their own domestic economies so that they can fulfill the needs and requirements of their general public and they can come up as a developed nation. So, for helping each other, they create some global groupings. For example, SAARC, the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, is a grouping which has been created by a few nations of the country, that is the South Asian nations like India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka and Pakistan. Same way, G8 is a grouping of 8 nations, G20 is a grouping of 20 nations which focus on the financial stability, and the members are the government and central banks of 20 nations who are the member nations of G20. Same way is the BRICS. BRICS is actually a grouping which has been formed by B stands for Brazil, R standing for Russia, I standing for India, C standing for China. Earlier it was BRIC only. Now South Africa has been added in it and it has become BRICS. These all groupings are focusing on one or the other aspect of the economic development of the country. For economic development, strengths and weaknesses of neighbor countries are analyzed and studied, and when such groupings are formed, nations have intention to help each other so that they can sort out the problems of each other and act as a united group. So, it is important to study the economies of the principal neighbors of the country. For our country, India, we consider that the major principal neighbors of our country, India, are Pakistan and China. So, in this chapter, we will study the similarities in the economic development and economic strategies of all the three countries, and we will also have a comparative analysis of the development strategies or the experiences of these three countries. So let us start with the economic strategies of China. The People's Republic of China was established in 1949 and has one of the oldest civilization in the world. China has been world's largest economy. Its area is 9.6 million square kilometers and its population is 1439 million people. The growth rate of China is 0.5% per annum. China was having one party rule from the very initial stage. It means that all the sectors, all the enterprises and local bodies as well as landholders which were owned and controlled by the individuals were coming under the government control. The main features of China's economy are: first, the Great Leap Forward campaign. Great Leap Forward campaign was started in 1958 by the first chairman of China, Mao Zedong. His policy was to transform the agrarian economy into industrial economy, that is the modern economy, on which focus was there to increase the industrialization. For this reason, people were encouraged to start up or set up new industries as small units in their households. In rural areas, the commune system was started. In 1958, there were around 26,000 communes. The commune system means the cultivated land was combined together and was cultivated by some particular people, and other people who were holding the lands, they were diverted towards the industrialization. So in this way, both the sides, that is the agriculture as well as the industrialization, was focused. Next is Great Proletarian Cultural Revolution. This was started in 1965 and continued from 1966 to 1976. Under this, the students and the professionals were sent to other countries, that is the developed countries, to get the technical skills or technical upgradations, understandings. This was also introduced by Mao, and the intention was to train the individuals or the professionals so that they can help for the development of the country further. Till 1976 it went on, but after that Russia and China, they had bitter relationships, and this system was stopped because Russia withdrew all the professionals sent from Russia to China. Next is reforms introduced in China. In 1978, two reforms were initiated, that is in two phases the reforms were initiated. In first stage, reform was for agriculture, foreign trade and investment sector. Under this, the communes which were created earlier were again allotted, that is the plots of lands were allotted to the individuals, and they were allowed to generate income from that. After generating that income, the ownership was in the hands of government, but the income generated with the individuals. Now the individuals were required to pay the taxes out of those incomes so that government can come up with the developmental strategies. Under second phase, the industrial sector reforms were introduced. Under this, the industries were allowed to be set up by the private enterprises or the general public, and these products which they were manufacturing were now in competition with the products which were manufactured by the government industries. Next point is dual pricing in reform process. Under this, the prices were fixed on two criteria, that is number one, for farmers and industrial units. Two things were fixed by the government. First is the quantity which they will be able to buy and sell, that is for input as well as for output. And number two, the fixing of prices was also done, whether it was for input and for output. I am again repeating, two things were fixed for farmers and the industrial sector. First is the fixation regarding the prices of inputs and outputs, and second is fixation regarding the quantity of input and output which will be available to them. The second price policy was for all other transactions, which was allowed to prevail as per the market demand and supply forces. Next point is special economic zone. Under special economic zone system, some zones or areas were fixed to attract the foreign investors. This was done to encourage foreign direct investments. Under this, the tax levels and the income generations were kept at low rates. Now let us discuss the developmental strategies of Pakistan. Islamic Republic of Pakistan, commonly called as Pakistan, gained independence on 14th August 1947. It has second largest Muslim population in world. First is Indonesia. Its area is 7,96,000 square kilometers, out of which cultivated area is 2,21,300 square meters and the forest area is 42,300 square meters. When we talk about the population of Pakistan, it's the sixth most populous country in the world, having 220 million people. Its growth rate is 2.1% per annum. Pakistan adopted various developmental strategies. Let us discuss these strategies one by one. First is adoption of mixed economy model. After gaining independence, Pakistan has adopted mixed economy model for developing the economic system of the country. The private as well as public enterprises were allowed to be established in the country. Second is introduction of various policies. In late 1950s to 1960s, domestic industries of the country, that is Pakistan, were given lot of assistance from the side of government by adopting such regulatory framework that such kind of industries, the domestic industries, they got the protection. The main system adopted was the tariff system, under which the relaxation was given regarding the imports and exports to the foreign countries. Next is the Green Revolution reform. Green Revolution and increase in the expenditure of infrastructure regarding the agriculture was adopted by the country, and it has brought a dramatic development in the agrarian status of the country. Next is importance of role of public sector in early 1970s. In early 1970s, the public sector was given more importance, more expenditure was done for development of the public sector, but in late 1970s, focus was given on private sector industries. Under this, new investments came up from the side of private people, which was also promoted by the government. Next is financial support during late 1970s. Financial assistance was sought by the Pakistan from Western nations. It means that lot of financial help was given from the side of Western nations in form of loans or remittances, so that the country was able to flourish its industrial as well as agricultural sector. Last, we can discuss the reforms also. In 1988, the reforms of Pakistan were initiated. Let us now discuss the similarities in development path of India, Pakistan and China. There are many similarities in development as well as the strategies adopted by India, Pakistan and China. First of all, India and Pakistan gained independence in 1947 and China was established in 1949. These three are very close to each other in this respect. Secondly, India and Pakistan as well as China started development in similar ways by adopting the system of 5-year plans. India's first 5-year plan was started in 1951, Pakistan 1956 and China 1953. India and Pakistan, they adopted mixed economy system, but China started command economy model from the very initial stage, which was actually one rule party.
Action.
Next point is China initially brought all production units under state ownership, that is the private enterprises as well as all individual industrial units were not allowed to run. There was only one state ownership for all the enterprises, but India and Pakistan followed similar strategies from the very starting, focusing on the public sector enterprises more. Till 1980s, all three countries, India, Pakistan and China, had similar growth rates and per capita incomes. So these are the similarities in the developmental path of India, Pakistan and China.